Neiman, Brian Wilson, Mary Catherine Ham, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority. 105.9 FM, AM 630. WMAL.
It is 8:37, the Morning Majority on 105.9 FM and AM 630. Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, Mary Catherine Ham. And did you hear this story that happened yesterday to Charlotte Airport? Guy flatlines, falls to the ground. He's having a heart attack. His heart stops beating. It was a good thing that Congressman Phil Roe happened to be nearby, because not only is he a congressman, a Republican congressman, he is also a doctor. And he happened to be on the scene and got the guy's heart restarted. He's on the line now to tell us about that whole experience. Congressman, how are you?
Oh, good morning, Brian. How are you?
Well, tell me, just sort of lay out the what you saw and what you did.
Well, I was, you have to get up to get back here from Tennessee, where I am at the crack of dawn, the red eye. So it was a 3:45 a.m. wake up for me. Woo. At 5:30 flight to Charlotte. And I'm getting a cup of coffee trying to wake up a little bit, and I'm talking to Mick Mulvaney, one of my friends from South Carolina, who's also in the Congress.
Right.
And then I heard someone shout out, "Is there a doctor?" And I look around, and it's at the end of the terminal, which is a big open area, and I look around, there's this man just lying on the carpet, and people sort of standing around, and someone had called 911, and everybody stepped up and tried to help. And I think there was another doctor there, although we didn't have time to exchange cards or formalities. We were working so hard. So, when you, as a doctor, when I looked at this man, I'm thinking, is he diabetic? Has he just passed out? Has he had a stroke? Has he had a heart attack? You think of all those things, just to me, a seizure immediately go through your mind. And we felt no carotid pulse, and so we started closed chest massage on him. And I want to encourage everybody to learn closed chest massage. It's not hard to do, and you can save a life. And the EMT guys, I want to give kudos to the fellows in the fire and police, EMT, and first responders who came. And if you see these AEDs, these automated devices, in the grocery stores,
the defibrillators, right?
Yeah, the defibrillators. Those things are easy to use, and they work unbelievably well. We hooked him up. He had a straight line and wasn't breathing, and hit the button. It tells you. I mean, it says to go ahead and defibrillate, and of course you clear away and hit the button, and his rhythm started back, and he began to breathe. And so hopefully I had the police officer who was there. I gave him my card, and the U.S. Air was kind enough to hold the airplane for a few minutes for me till we got him stable. And
that's the least they could do.
And I appreciate them doing that. And
so is the guy okay?
As far as we know. Now, of course, with HIPAA and privacy, I haven't heard today, but I had the police officer that was there call me. I asked him to. I gave him my card, and he called me and said that it looked like he was going to make it. So that's just great news.
That's awesome.
Did you instinctively know what to do? I mean, I realized you're a doctor. You were an OBGYN for years. There's some doctors who probably don't even know how to do CPR.
It's something that you're trained to do, and you go through. We try, because of much of what we do is in OB. You go from hours of boredom to seconds of sheer terror.
Right, sure,
that's true.
So you learn how to do those things, and you keep that training up. And it's something. CPR is almost like riding a bike, and the new techniques where you don't do mouth to mouth,
I
was closed chest.
Yeah.
Is all
I was surprised to learn that.
Well, I think where the information came from, when when they put these little clips on your finger that's called pulse oximeter to measure the oxygen level in your blood. What was happening was they were putting the pulse oximeter on and doing closed chest CPR, and you could see that the oxygen saturation stayed up. And that's where why I think this gentleman cardioverted so easily was because we were on him literally within seconds, and he never did get hypoxic or have his oxygen level drop, I don't think.
Yeah, I've heard in the past that CPR can sort of stop the clock on your degradation and your brain loss and that kind of thing. Maybe can't get you to where you need to go, but it can stop the clock. Is that basically the theory behind it?
It is, Mary Catherine. What happens is that as you lose oxygen, your blood becomes more acid. And as that happens, many other physiologic things start to happen in your heart and the rest of your body, your kidneys, your brain. And so you want to make sure you keep that O2 going. And when they put the pulse ox on, I never did get a saturation level, but he was beginning to breathe, and I don't think he'll have any memory probably from the time he maybe walked in and sat down. He was, I think, beginning to have whatever problem he was having. And it seems like my guess would be he had a heart attack with what we call an arrhythmia or rhythm disturbance of your heart. That's typically what happens when people collapse like that.
Let me, at the risk of a very bad pun, is it possible, politically speaking now, to actually perhaps resuscitate the reputation of Congress? I mean,
that was bad.
I know it's bad, but but there's a serious question behind it. I mean, right now when you look at the polls, it is like, boy, the Congress is not held in very high esteem. So as you look at the political situation right now, what do you think needs to be done?
I think it's a great point you make. I say this jokingly, but I say with an approval rating of 10 or 15%, I have to call to see if I can go home now. It's so bad.
Oh, man.
So it is. I think the people in this country want their problems solved. And the number one issue in America today are jobs. I mean, when you go home, I've done this over and over. When I speak to groups, Kiwanis Club or wherever I may be, I ask, do you feel like this recession's over? Not a hand has gone up yet, and the reason that those hands haven't gone up is because the recession's over when a man or a woman can go out in some fairly reasonable length of time, get a job that's commensurate with their skills. And right now people can't do that, and they're concerned and worried, and they're looking to Washington to say, stop the bickering, get the job machine rolling. I think that's exactly what they want.
Well, I really hope you get to meet the man and perhaps his family under more sanguine circumstances in the future.
Well, I certainly do, and I was very happy today when I took the metro in here to my office that it was a much less eventful day.
Yeah, I bet that's right.
Well, thank you very much, Congressman Phil Roe of the great state of Tennessee.
Good to have you, Congressman.